right, Shalom. Before I get started, I have to give all thanks and praises unto our power, the power of Israel, not the power of any other nation. And seeing that I don't come in my own name whatsoever, what is the name of the power that I serve? Yahweh, Bahashum Yahweh Shai, Bahashum Warakwadash. Peace, blessings, and much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth to the rest of the church who believe as well. You men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons and daughters also. And the water to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. All right? So there's a lot going on, man. This is not the time to be falling away. Now, we understand, for those of us who have the understanding, that ultimately what we're involved in is about predestination. In fact, everything in life is really based on predestination. It's about what the Lord has set up for any of us or anything. Everything is not based off free will, but rather the Lord's will. It's about Lord's will, Yahweh, Bahashum Yahweh Shai's will. All right, now as I was going out of my door, my woman made me alert to an article. Now this was posted today, so it's June 21st, 2025 at 7:03. Right now where I am is 7:56. So by the time this video goes up, it will be a little later because this is a pre-recording. Now this is from my local news station. It says U.S. attacked 3 Iranian nuclear sites, President Trump says. So the U.S. is involved, man. See, you can't make no excuses and say, you know, this guy's tripping. There's no way that we could ever go into war. War is already happening. It's just not happening on the rate that it's going to eventually succumb to. All right, there's a lot going on. So we're not in the time to be falling away. We're not in the time to be turning back, because guess what? There are many who have turned back, and they're actually seeing these prophecies come to pass. So you know deep down inside, they shaking. They're shooken up. They're all shooken up. Okay? Like that song by Elvis Presley, I'm all shook up. Well, a lot of our people are all shook up seeing these prophecies come to pass, especially those who partook in this ministry, and then they went back into the world like nothing ever happened. So while they're back in the world, not doing this, they're hearing about Iran and Israel, Russia, Ukraine, and how typically right now even America is involved, as it would have came to anyway, seeing that America is allied to Israel. All right, really America is Israel's bitch. All right, if those fake Israelis were to be symbolized as something, they would be likened unto a man, and Babylon would be likened unto a woman, a sluttish woman that's still a virgin, but she be giving hand jobs and blow jobs, man. And she's full of diseases. She's full of lies and trickery, but she still is a virgin. That's America. Now America is soon to be judged. Now let's go into the book of Isaiah 33 and 14, seeing that I was mentioning how you had a lot of Israelites who were once in this truth, but they went back into the world. They don't believe no more. But at the same time, they're watching all these prophecies happen, so you know they're shaken up. Isaiah 33 and 14, the sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? So our people, who are a bunch of hypocrites, they're seeing all these things taking place, and they're nervous because maybe at one time they were feeling like things ain't moving fast enough. Not enough is happening, but yet I'm out here talking about nuclear destruction. I'm out here talking about the end of America and salvation. They end up losing hope. the little bit of faith that they had, which was really no faith at all, because a little bit of faith is a world apart from no faith. The thing is, a lot of these men who fall out, they never really had faith in the first place. That's why they didn't grow. But things weren't moving how they wanted it to move. So they go back into the world, and then they're looking at all these prophecies coming to pass now. And I know they're afraid, because the scriptures say they would be. A bunch of hypocrites. Men who fell away because they thought, maybe this ain't it. Maybe this ain't true. Maybe there won't be no war. Maybe peace will be in the Middle East. Maybe America will always remain, in this settled situation of always, just being out the way. No. Things are going to keep on increasing, as I often say. That's how the Lord is moving, man. All right? Just as the elect are being sealed, which is a process, he's allowing more prophecies to be fulfilled, which is also a process. All right? There's this cloud that kind of looks like it's a chariot. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness has surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burning? So the hypocrites of our people, maybe they fell away, or maybe they've been scoffers and scorners. They might have never been a partaker, but they always had something bad to say about this ministry. Well, you're seeing all these things take place. And you have only so much you can say against us before you have to acknowledge, okay, these guys can't be that crazy, because what they're talking about is actually going on in the news right now. What they're talking about sounds like the modern day current events. What they're talking about sounds like today's time. And that's what's happening. But let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 9 and 62. And Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom. So once you come into this ministry, once you claim to be a believer, you can't turn back now. But many men have. And in the process of them turning back, they're seeing all these prophecies happen. So you know that they're scared. And low key, a lot of them may want to come back to this ministry. Like a brother that he's not even a brother. A man that I thought was a brother, who used to come out here with me for a short time. He ended up, texting me, trying to go out for margaritas, man. I didn't even respond back to him. Because at the end of the day, you turn your back on Yahushua, and you also turned your back on me doing so. You turn your back on me, Yahushua, and the Heavenly Father. So why the hell would I want to go out for drinks with you, man? I'm still out here, putting in this work by myself, man, catching hell, going through various afflictions, and you're not out here with me. A lot of you men who have turned back and you went back into the world, all right, it's a very, 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 very rare chance that the Lord is going to have favor upon you. Okay? And Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of the power. So you're not useful if you're looking back. You're deemed useless. You're not fit for the kingdom if you're looking back like Lot's wife. And what happened with Lot's wife? She turned to a pillar of salt because she looked back. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai wants us to be single-eyed, man. He wants us to be about this. But a lot of you Israelites, you keep wanting to look back. You keep wanting to draw back, go back into the world. All right? Luke chapter 17 and 32. Remember Lot's wife. So if you look back, you're not fit for the kingdom. If you're looking back like Lot's wife, you're not going to make it. That's why the scripture says, remember Lot's wife. And it's one of the shorter scriptures next to Jesus wept or Yahushua wept. All right? It's a very simple and easy scripture to understand. Remember Lot's wife. And she's not remembered for being obedient. She's remembered for being disobedient as what not to be. And we don't want to be like her. We don't want to be in that effeminate spirit and look back. Be in that weak spirit and trying to turn back because we missed the world. Okay? There's a lot of things that we've turned our back from serving Yahweh Shai. It takes sacrifice serving Yahweh Shai, just as he sacrificed himself for the nation of Israel. All right? But we're making ourselves a living sacrifice. There's a lot of things that we could be doing and we're not doing it because we have restraints. Luke 17:32 again. Remember Lot's wife. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it. And whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. So brothers who have come in this truth, making all these various sacrifices, it's like you lost your life, man. Sometimes I'll just be sitting to myself and I feel like I'm already dead. But not dead as in being in darkness, but dead to this world. All right? My own family, they already got accustomed. Man, that's crazy. That cloud that I thought was a chariot, I don't even see it no more. What was I about to say? I've already felt like I was dead to this world because, like with my family, they would be having gatherings. And oftentimes, kind of like with Bone Thugs and Harmony, right? You have 5 members in the group, but one was always known to not be around like that, which was Busy Bone. I'm like the Busy Bone of my family. You know, they'll be taking pictures, they'll be having gatherings, and I'm not there. Why? Because I'm in this ministry, I'm in this truth. I've been separated from the world, okay? But coming from my family, they have the mentality of FOE, family over everything. I was the only one of all my family members who put God first and then family second, okay? Which is why, you know, back in the world, I got a tattoo, and it's GFM, and the GF stood for God first, family second. But my family, they believe in family over everything, or family first. But as that mentality has, I guess, lingered around, it's really done nothing for my family but broken my family up. Because now one of my brothers is in jail right now, looking at first-degree murder. And here in Kansas, on a first-degree murder charge, you know, you're looking at bare minimum, you can be looking at 20 to 25 years of your life plus before you can even see parole, okay? So it's a very, very serious charge. So understanding how serious that charge is and knowing at one time, you know, my family used to have all these gatherings. Now they're never going to have it to where it's all of us again. Those days are gone, man. Because not only was I taken out the picture by being in this ministry, now another one of my brothers coming from under my mom's roof, he's been taken away from the family in a sense of being locked away. Which we come from a household of 6 kids. All right, which kids mean baby goat, but you know what I mean. 6. My mom had 6 seeds, man. All right. Now, seeing that she had 6 seeds, it's down to 4, seeing that I'm taken away and my other brother's taken away. So it could never be the same ever again. But I walked away from that already. So I could never go back to what once was. I can't look back. You know, all the reminiscing and things that come with being in this flesh, it can break your heart. You know, sometimes I look back on how close my family was. Man, we would ride or die for each other. If you got a problem with one of us, you got a problem with all of us. That's how we roll, man. But I walked away from that because I'm serving Yahweh Shai and they don't believe in what I believe in. Okay? But it took a sacrifice, man. So we can't look back because we miss what used to be. We miss what once was, man. You know? Because yes, it's a little emotional at times to, you know, be looking at pictures online or whatever of my family, and I'm just not there. You know, they'll be having a good time, you know, blasting music, eating food, and I'm just not there. All right? And seeing that my brother just got locked up, another brother got locked up, but this one's under my mom's roof, it's never going to be all of us again. And what it's looking like, man. You know, life is ever changing. But these are the things that we must endure. You know, we have to catch this hell, man. All right? Let's go to Matthew 24. In verse 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So there really isn't a lot of love in this world. And even your so-called family, they don't love you the way that you think they should love you. Okay, you might love them, you might want what's best for them, but there's a lot of cases where that feeling isn't reciprocated. It's not coming back on you. And because of the emotional connections, it can take a while for you to understand that, damn, maybe they really didn't love me all this time, man. I assume they did because I loved them, but no, in reality, love is based off what the Heavenly Father says. Okay, fearing the Lord and keeping His commandments is love. Your family can still stab you in the back. Your family can betray you. You know, having that family over everything mentality is really idolatry, because you're taking out the Lord. You're taking out the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son who gave you that family. Okay, but we have to understand we're in a very evil and dark time. So the Lord's separating us from people. Although it may hurt, we have to understand what He's separating us from. He's separating us from darkness. He's separating us from a lot of people whose spirit ain't right. Okay? My sign just fell. Matthew 24 and 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So that's why there ain't no love like that. And in your family, back in the world, they was talking about how they loved you. They were supporting you, but then suddenly you come to this truth, the support's gone because they never loved you, man. Okay, they'll support you as a gangbanger. They'll support you as being a homosexual. They'll support you for really anything under the sun except for being a righteous man. That alone shows you that our families don't really love us, man. And the love that we have for them, as much as it hurts, we have to understand that no one can really love you if they don't have the Lord in their life, man. No one could fully love you accurately if the Lord isn't in their life. So being separated from our families, yeah, it hurts, but there really isn't a lot of love among our family as much as we think anyway, all right? It's real windy out here. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. So we have to endure until the end. That's how we're going to be saved. Now this is Mark chapter 13 and 13. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. And that's what it's about. It's about, you know, going through various afflictions, man. Various things are going to weigh down on us, but we have to endure in order for us to be saved. And most Israelites are not capable of enduring, especially as the hell increases. You know, with so much that we go through, we still have to keep fighting. We can't be like, you know, those in the world. They might get a job that they hate. They could just quit. You know, you might get with a female, you realize she ain't for you, you can just, you know, dump her, okay? You might have a pair of shoes, you don't like them no more, you just want to retire them, you want to throw them away. But we can't do that with this ministry. We have to remain if we want to be saved. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. So we have to endure until the end. And if it was easy, we would have nothing to endure. But we have to endure various temptations. Okay, just like it hurts knowing that one of my brothers is locked up. And he was actually at one time one of my closest brothers, one of my favorite brothers, because we would share the same rooms. You know, we were closer in age. When I would go to my friend's house when I was younger, you know, he would have to come with me. So at one time, this brother was glued to the hip. But then divisions and, life started taking place, man, where I started to see a change in that man, and not for the better, in a sense of how he would treat me. You know what I mean? He would just act weird with me, man. I could never understand why. And then coming into the truth, it really it got worse, man. And what I acknowledged is a lot of people that I loved and cared about never really loved me. And it just sucks to have to understand that as you're getting older, and, people you have history with really never really, felt how you felt. Okay? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 2, and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. So there's a lot of temptation that tries to come. Many things try to get in our way. Many thoughts try to get in our way to where we muse on them to have us distracted. Things that try to set us back, have us looking back like Lot's wife. But we have to endure. We have to fight. And that is not easy. It's not easy. Okay, but I'm not out here telling you to endure, to keep fighting. But I got 4 or 5 men with me, not taken away from brothers who do. I'm telling you as a man who I've been out here by myself the whole time, man. And for a short time, like a window of maybe 3 months, I had a man coming out here, but he didn't even offer me no help, man. He never had nothing to say, nothing to add. Okay? I was always, driving the flow of the lesson. And it was getting to the point where it's like, look, man, you ain't never got nothing to say. And there is things you can say because we talk. But then when we get on the streets, it's like you have nothing to say, man. Then it just got to a point where he just fell away. He just stopped showing up. And it's messed up too, because, we were pretty cool. He was an associate of mine back in the world. We kick it. I'd go to his house or whatnot. But then after coming to the truth, and then he fell away, that's what broke our friendship. Or our bond. I can't even really call him a friend. I don't just call everybody friends, But if he would have never came into this ministry, I would probably still associate with him at a distance, In and out, in and out. I probably link up with him, go have a drink, then go back to my life. Because at one time, he was almost like the only person I was talking to, because when I brought up the truth, he wasn't really bucking against it. And he was always telling me about who he was telling this truth to. I was like, look, if you're telling everybody the truth, maybe you should be a teacher. But I also let him know, if you feel like you're going to turn back, don't do it. Because once you start, you cannot stop. The Lord will judge you for that. Okay? You can't look back. I let him know these things. And guess what happened? He looked back. He ain't out here now. He didn't endure those temptations. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. So we have to, be still. We have to let the Lord work, man. Okay? We have to understand that as hard as it gets, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi has everything set up how it's going to be set up. We just have to let it be. We have to endure the afflictions, because these things were actually written for us. The things that we go through were written for us specifically to go through. Okay? So instead of, spazzing out and losing our ish, we should understand what we're dealing with in terms of it's the Heavenly Father. For whatever reason, He's putting me through this. But if I'm of His elect, it's going to be for my better, regardless. Okay? 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. So men have come in and fell out. They might believe in the truth or pretend to believe in the truth, but then they hear something else that sounds more catchy. Because this ministry, the message don't change. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi has given us a message, and for some, it might get stale. For some, it might get old. It might get unattractive. Just like if you get with a woman, you in that honeymoon phase, But then over time, that honeymoon phase starts to wear off. Many have come to this truth. They go through that honeymoon phase, but then it gets boring to them. They get tired of having to hear about the same things over and over and over again. So when they hear some doctrine that sounds a little interesting to their ears, they'll follow that doctrine. I'm tired of hearing about nuclear destruction and who the Israelites are. What else? What else can I know? I'm tired of hearing about history and what we used to be. I want to hear something more interesting, something more tingly to my ears. Okay, so they don't endure the truth. They don't endure sound doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they leap to themselves teachers having itching ears. So people want people who are like them. People want their teachers to justify them. People want their teachers to be customized teachers. Yeah, it's cool that you my teacher, but I need my teacher to be bent to my liking. Okay? I don't want to hear the truth. I want to hear what I want to hear. And that's the teacher that I want to be my teacher. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. So our people would rather turn away from the truth for falsehood. You want to hear a fable. You want to hear me tell you, all you Israelites who don't make it, you're going to burn in hell for an eternity. And you're going to have gargoyles poking at you. And then when you're done, okay, you're going to keep waking up and it's going to be the same thing over and over and over. It's going to be like a bad dream. And guess who else is going to be down there? You're going to see Hitler down there. Michael Jackson's going to be down there. Okay, Prince is down there. They all going to be getting burned just like you over and over and over again. You're going to have Israelites saying, damn, that's terrifying. That's scary, man. I don't want that to happen. No. You want to hear fables. You don't want to hear the truth. You want to hear something that sounds far out. Okay, you want to see us levitate. You want to hear us talk about stupid shit. You don't want to hear us talk about the word. You want to hear falsehood. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof the ministry. And I'm making full proof the ministry because I'm coming out here, man, to these streets and teaching this word. And with doing that, it comes with enduring. It's not easy coming out here. It takes that inner desire, that inner oomph. You have to really use your balls, man. You have to use that testicular fortitude to come up out of your comfort. All right? Because I got to work tonight, man. And the fact that I even ponder on working, it really just weighs down on me, man. It's like I could just be sitting on my ass doing nothing, waiting to go to work, saving my strength for this punk ass job, man. Which I do hate my job. I absolutely hate my job. And it's funny too, because I mentioned in my last lesson, the brother that got picked up, the one who's locked up now, we used to work together. In fact, not only did we work together, we literally worked in the same area, man. So I would see him every day. And to not see him at work is going to be awkward, although we really didn't talk like that. Because again, that division was there. But at one time, he was like one of my best friends, man. It's just crazy how things, can turn around in life. How things just change. Okay? But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions. Do the work of an evangelist. Make full proof of thy ministry. So we're bringing good tidings. That's the work of an evangelist. Bringing forth this good news, spreading this gospel. And that's what I'm out here doing. And I'm making full proof this ministry because I'm out here on the streets. Okay? Now, there's certain times of the day where traffic may not be as busy or traffic may be a little busier than usual. But I come out to locations where people are actually going to be driving by. Okay? That's where we need to be. Out here on the highways, man. And right up the street where that light is, that's a highway. James chapter 1 and verse 12. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation. So we have to constantly endure temptation. We constantly go through things, man. And it's not exciting hearing that. You know, even hearing such a thing can weigh down on your soul, man. To really put your mind in accepting afflictions and burdens, that weighs down on you. It really does. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him. So we have to endure these temptations. We have to constantly endure temptation. Things that try to have us looking back. Things that try to knock us off of our feet. You know, I'm constantly enduring temptations, man. You brothers, constantly enduring temptations. You sisters too. Why? Because you're actually trying. You're applying yourself. And with doing that, the temptations get stronger. It becomes that much more difficult. Okay? James chapter 5 and 10. Take my brethren the prophets, who have spoken the name of the Lord, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. So the prophets, although we come out here and teach, we're catching hell. We're an example of the things that we reference and speak on. That's why we use life references, because we are an example if we are indeed those prophets. Okay? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has given us the spirit to come out here, speak this word, to give hope to our people, to be encouraging, okay? And within doing so, we're constantly enduring temptation. You know, it's not easy. Take my brethren, the prophets, who have spoken in the name of the Lord. That's why we use the true names, because that's what the prophets would do. For an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. So if we endure, we're going to be happy. We have to be like Job was. Although we go through various tests and trials and tribulations, we have to endure, man. Okay? We have to. Because if we don't, it's not going to be a good end for ourselves, man. And believe me, the judgment that the Lord is going to bring is insufferable. What we're dealing with now is far more sufferable than what the Lord is going to bring to those who are his enemies. Okay? So we can't turn back now. All right? Just like I just read earlier, how the U.S. did a strike on 3 Iranian nuclear sites, man. That is a time, that is a sign of the time. That is showing you the time that we are in is literally everything that we're speaking about. And seeing that we have to endure, it's clear that we don't even have to endure all that much longer. Okay, but we've done a lot of enduring. Okay? A whole lot, man. I mean, we've gone through so much. There's things that we don't even remember. We can't even recount all the things that we've gone through, man. But we go through so much, but yet we're an example unto our people, letting you know that what you're going through, we go through it too. You know, we're not ice skating just because we're serving the Lord. Now, the Lord blesses our situation, but with that still comes the affliction, still comes the trials and tribulations. Like right now, I'm doing better than I've ever done financially, but it's like I'm watching the world burn around me. I'm watching even those that I love suffer, go through judgment. Okay, so it's like a two-edged sword, but we have to endure that. Hebrews chapter 6. Hebrews chapter 6 and 13. For when the power made promise to Abraham, because he could swear by no greater, he swore by himself, saying, surely, blessing I will bless thee, and multiplying I will multiply thee. And so after he had patiently endured, he obtained the promise. So just like Abraham, we have to be patient. We have to endure before we can receive the promise given to us, before we can receive the kingdom of heaven, before we can receive all of our heart's desires. We have to bear these burdens and these trials right now. Okay? Because Abraham, he had to do the same thing. He didn't get it easy. Okay? So we have to have faith and endurance like our forefather, Abraham. You know, we have to endure like our forefather, Job. Okay? And so after he had patiently endured, he obtained the promise. So we have to endure like Abraham. We also have to endure, ultimately, being the greatest example, like Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai was catching all that hell, and guess what? He was focused on the prize. He was focused on the promise himself. He knew that there was a reward, that him going through all that he was going through wasn't in vain. It wasn't for nothing. And we have to have that same mentality that what we're dealing with isn't in vain. Okay? Let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter, I believe it's in 12. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. So this isn't a race about how fast you can run. This is a race about patience. As we're going through these afflictions, as we're doing the work, we have to make sure that we're keeping our cool, that we're holding on to our patience, that we're not out here losing our mind, that we're not losing our hope, that we're not discouraged. Okay, and we're not discouraging others. But we have to, keep our mind set on the goal, man. Okay? Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is before us. So we have to race with patience, or being steadfast. We have to race with endurance. Okay, we have to keep going. This is more like a marathon. Okay, this isn't some 100-yard dash, man. And the first one who gets to the finish line wins. No, this is a marathon. It's a long marathon. And many times you come to a point where you think it's the finish line just to find out, damn, I'm tripping. I still got a ways to go. Well, you can't lose patience. You still got to keep moving. All right? You have to pace yourself. Now, brothers will say, well, I don't want to go out multiple times a week because I don't want to burn myself out. Well, I get what you're saying, but Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is an infinite power, man. And if you show forth that you're trying, he's going to work with you. He'll feed you that ability to go out at least 2 times a week, man. Okay? So we have to be patient, and we have to know that this is a marathon and not burnout, but at the same time, that's not an excuse to not do more. Okay? Because I used to kind of get scared of that too. Like, maybe I shouldn't go out more than once. What if I get burned out? What if my lessons get repetitive? But that's Satan. Okay? We have to put our effort in, man, and let the Lord do the rest for us. Verse 2, looking unto Yahweh Shai, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross. So Yahweh Shai was able to endure because he was looking forward to the reward. He was looking forward to the prize. Despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the power. So Yahweh Shai didn't like what he had to go through. He hated it. He despised it. He was disgusted at the things he had to endure. But what kept him going was the prize, looking forward to the promise. Okay, just like Abraham did. He was looking forward to the promise given to him. Yahweh Shai was looking forward to the promise that the Heavenly Father made with him before the world begun. Okay, that's how he was able to endure being on that cross. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest you be wearied and faint in your mind. So we have to endure like Yahweh Shai. All the hell that he went through, who the hell are we to think we're not going to go through hell? He went through a lot of hell, man, and he endured because he had his mind set on the prize, so we have to have that same mentality. In other words, we might end up being weary and fall away from this ministry. This is the book of Galatians. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So we're going to reap if we don't faint. We can't fall away, man. And seeing how the Lord is working, he's causing all these things to happen. It's because he's doing everything that he said he would do. It's because he's bound by his word, man. He's not like man that he's going to lie to us. The Lord is up front. He's doing his end of the bargain. So we have to do our end. We put our hand to the plow. We can't turn back now. We have to keep working. Okay? We singing it. The Lord's bringing it. And let us not be weary in well-doing. This is well-doing. And I understand. Okay, yeah, a lot of people, when I say a lot of people, I mean a lot of people don't listen to me. People don't consider what I have to say. But I'm not weary in well-doing because ultimately I know that there is a reward for this. Okay? And I'm being watched by an innumerable amount of angels that I don't even see. For in due season, we shall reap if we faint not. Everything happens in its season. And we're soon to come into the season of reaping our reward. Okay? 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 13. But ye brethren, be not weary in well-doing. And if any man obey not our word by this epistle, note that man and have no company with him, that he may be ashamed. So we shouldn't be weary in well-doing. Instead of wanting to fall away, be like everyone else, you should be separating from these people anyway. You should be in the mentality of knowing you're on the right track. You're doing what the Lord wants you to do. Okay? Matthew chapter 24 and verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And that's what's happening. This word is going out all throughout the earth through the help of the internet that the Lord has given us, man. He's causing this word to flourish. It's spreading like a wildfire. Wherever the elect are, they're being illuminated by this fire. Okay? And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So the days are being shortened because we're teaching this gospel. Verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. Before the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is shortening the days for the elect. The elect are out here teaching this word, spreading this word out, and within that, other elect are being sealed. All right? And as that's happening, it's bringing the end of this society. So instead of wanting to fall away and be weary, thinking that it's always going to be messed up like this, thinking that we're only just here to catch hell and that's all we're here to do until we die. No, man, we're at the very end of our captivity. We have to hold on. We have to keep our minds set on that prize because it's very close, closer than what we know. Okay? And the fact that we're prophesying and bringing out this word in the open, we're furthering, the end of this world. Mark 16 and 15, and he said unto them, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. And with us doing that, we're bringing the end. We're bringing in the end because the Lord is hearing this word, okay? And he's causing things to happen in the background. Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 2. O Lord, be gracious unto us. We have waited for thee. So we have to be patient because we're waiting. To wait on something, it requires patience. It requires suffering. We have waited for thee, but thou, their arm every morning, our salvation, also in the time of trouble. So the Lord is going to be our salvation in the time of trouble because, see, the days are already being shortened, seeing that this word's going out. And with the days being shortened, the devil knows that his time is short. So what does that mean? That he's going to come down upon our people very soon with great wrath. Isaiah 33 and 2, O Lord, be gracious unto us. We have waited for thee. Be thou their arm every morning, our salvation also in the time of trouble. Jump down to verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord Yahweh is his treasure. So the days are being shortened, which is going to lead to Esau Edom coming down with wrath because he knows his days are short. Okay? But the Lord is going to be our refuge when that comes. Revelations 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So the days are being shortened for the elect. And the devil knows that he has a short time. So when these days get to that point of, trials and tribulations increasing, when them days of trouble increase, the Lord is going to be our salvation in the time of trouble. Okay? James chapter 5 and 7. Be patient, therefore, brethren. So we can't fall away. We have to hold on. We have to endure because salvation is nearer than what we know. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patient for it, until he receive the early and latter rain. So we have to be patient as the elect are being sealed. Okay, the early rain happened when this word was first going out. Okay, and brothers are being built up. And the latter rain is this word going out. Brothers are stronger in the spirit. Other elect are being woken up here in these end times, which is ultimately going to lead to our people who are of the elect being sealed to be delivered. And everyone else outside of that, they're going to be destroyed, man. Okay? Now, I think the former rain, if I'm not mistaken, that might be the fall season. I have to look it up. But the former rain, that's the water when you first put your seeds into the ground, before the seeds start to grow, before the process starts. But then the latter rain is as it's growing, you're watering it. Okay, you're seeing your progress, and you're still watering it. Okay, so when you first plant a seed into the ground, and let's say you water it, that's the former rain. But when that seed starts to flourish into whatever it is and you're watering it, well, that's the latter rain. And we're at that point now where our people are growing, they're flourishing. The number of Israelites who believe today are bigger than the number of Israelites who believed last year or the year before or 5 years prior to that and so forth. So as we're awaiting Yahweh Shai's return, we have to be patient because the Lord is waiting for his elect to be sealed. This is not the time to fall away, even with all the afflictions and things that we go through. So reading this article again, just giving more good reason on why we shouldn't be falling away. They already moved it because there's so much happening. U.S. has struck 3 Iranian nuclear sites, Trump says, joining Israeli air campaign. Here's another article, okay? U.S. sends B-2 bombers to Guam as President Trump weighs options amid Israel-Iran conflict. So we ain't in a time of peace, man. We're in the time of the end. And things are going to get even worse. So with that, I'm going to give all praises unto our power, the power of Israel, not the power of any other nation. And seeing that I don't come in my own name, what is his name? Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wa Rakak Wadash. Until next time, I'm out. Shalom.